James Tynion, Matthew Rosenberg, and Otto Schmidt continue the vampire apocalypse as some of the last remaining heroes of Earth make a final stand against Dick Grayson's vampiric hordes in order to get an important person into hiding. James Tynion and Matthew Rosenberg explore the world post-vampire takeover with an issue that has a totally different feel compared to the previous 6 issues, now dishing the whole secret vampire cabal working in the background and mysterious deaths being investigated by the Bat family for all-out apocalypse, complete with Mad Max-esque convoys of humans and hidden cities holding the last bits of humanity together. It's honestly something the book I think desperately needed, since the premise was beginning to wear a bit thin, but now there is some new life to it and pretty much a new cast of characters to follow, meaning the plot finally gets moving again with the heroes having a clear end goal against the vampires. I love the use of Jaina, the only remaining Wonder Twin. We followed her brother Zan in the first half of the book before being brutally killed by a Green Lantern, so I like that we get to follow her now, and I like that she's a lone vampire hunter who I would love to see more adventures of instead of all of the all-out series and random one-shots we are getting of this world that recently released. Otto Schmidt continues painting the series in some fun light, giving us more brutal and bloody action sequences, and we don't really get to see much of them this issue, but I love his redesigned black, red and yellow costumes for Dick's vampire army. It was really cool and sleek, and very fitting that most of the heroes that are under him already had that sort of somewhere in their colour scheme as well, so it fits with their costumes really nicely. And it wasn't something I was expecting the villains to be given, but visually it makes sense to help really signal that these people are now evil, watch out for them. DC vs. Vampires issue 7 was a refreshing reframing of the series, shifting into the full-on vampire apocalypse with a solid mission outline for the heroes and a fun new cast of survivors to follow through the undead world. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. DC vs. Vampires issue 7 finds Superman become a vampire thanks to Wonder Woman, and thus the infection spread across the entire world, leading to many more heroes to be infected, forced to battle their former friends. Superboy is killed by Shazam and Wonder Woman, who tear the boy in half as Firestorm and Heatwave begin burning the world's forests and jungles and crops, starving the world's human population while also choking out the sky and sun, plunging the world into darkness. Sometime later, a convoy of humans from Nightlight, one of the final human strongholds, escapes the now burning safe haven, trying to find another rumoured stronghold nearby. Adam Strange continues to send his message of help out into the stars as Wild Dog tells him no one is coming since the vampires slaughtered all of the Green Lanterns who came to help. Director Bones tells them both to shut up as the convoy comes towards some burning cars. The team get out and check the cars as Killer Frost puts them out and Peacemaker and Adam push the cars off the road. Adam soon spots a snake, something Peacemaker knows can't be in this environment, but as Adam goes to check on it, the snake reveals itself to actually be the vampire Plastic Man. Wild Dog opens fire on Plastic Man as suddenly Adam Strange is killed by Hawkwoman's mace. Bones knows that it's an ambush as Wonder Woman arrives, preferring to think of it as a little housekeeping. Peacemaker tells the group to hold their ground as they are surrounded while Heatwave burns their cars. Killer Frost tries to stop Mick, asking if he's going for the civilians since he's afraid he can't take on anyone with powers. Killer Frost, however, is soon killed by Firestorm as Wild Dog covers Plastic Man with holy water, burning the villain as Negative Man calls for the team to fall back. But Peacemaker doesn't know where to, wanting to settle this there and now. Peacemaker is killed instantly by Wonder Woman, who calls him stupid but brave. Raven confronts Heatwave, using her powers to turn his own flamethrower on him, immolating the vampire Mick as Raven is soon bitten by Plastic Man, turning her as the remaining heroes confront Firestorm. Bones doesn't really have a plan, telling Larry and Wild Dog that it's been an honor to fight with them. Negative Man is soon picked up by Hawkgirl as Firestorm kills Wild Dog, telling Bones that he has a question for him and if he doesn't like the answer, he will melt him. Bones says that he always thought Firestorm was the most boring member of the Justice League as the villain demands to know where their secret city is. Bones doesn't know what he's talking about, but Firestorm knows that they will find it and he thinks Bones should be worried about himself. Bones, however, thinks that he can say the same about Firestorm, but it's too late as Firestorm is stabbed in the back, causing a huge explosion that takes out everything in the surrounding area. Out of the rubble, Jaina, the only surviving Wonder Twin, reverts from her water form back to her human form, finding Bones survived the blast as well, albeit now just a skull and a spinal column. Jaina introduces herself, knowing that the blast would keep the vampires down, which is why she stabbed Firestorm, but it won't keep him down for long and she's not sticking around. Bones tells her to take the first car in the convoy since it's armoured. Taking Bones with her, Jaina speeds off, telling the director all about how she's been wandering the world, helping where she can. She also reveals that she lost someone close to her who always wanted to be a hero, but after he died, she didn't know who to trust anymore. Bones knows they must become what they take from them, telling Jaina to be the hero for the lost. Jaina doesn't think that she has it in her as they arrive at a swampy location. She tries to ask Bones where they go from there, but Director Bones has died. Jaina soon approaches the swamp in front of her to find Killer Croc inside the water. He asks for her password, but Jaina never got one from Bones, telling Waylon that Director Bones told her to come there. Croc thinks she should have led with that as the atom appears from a flask that Killer Croc shows her. Ryan asks where everyone is, so Jaina tells him that everyone was killed in an ambush, making Ryan remember that Constantine said the protection spell on Bones should have worked and nothing short of a nuclear blast should have hurt him. And he exploded in that of a nuclear blast, and Bones survived long enough to tell her to get to safety. Ryan thinks that Bones actually pulled it off, rushing to the car they had and revealing that in the trunk, Bones was keeping Supergirl safe. The Atom reveals that the mission was just a cover to get Kara to them after Nightlight fell. Jaina yells at Supergirl, knowing that she could have fought during the fight and protected the others at the ambush site, but Waylon tells her to back off and she should look up at the sky. Ryan says that there isn't any sunlight, which means Supergirl's powers aren't active, and besides, Kara is more than a fighter, she's a symbol to them, wanting to get her and Jaina into the city. Waylon gets out his little flask again, and the three heroes are sucked inside by the Atom's tech, leaving Croc to enter the swamp alone again. The heroes are taken to the bottled city of Kandor, where Kara asks what happened to all of the Kandorians. Ryan says that they were bringing people there to hide and found it deserted, thinking that Nightwing's forces got there first. Kara needs to know who did this, so Ryan says that Wonder Woman, Grodd, Majestic, Shazam and Superman all are part of his army. Kara is taken to see the other survivors, reunited with Steel, who asks if she is okay. Ryan introduces Jaina to the group and Constantine thinks that she looks like shit, asking what she's been up to and learning that Jaina has killed 211 vampires. Batgirl asks if Kara needs some rest, but the Supergirl only wants to help. Green Arrow asks Constantine about his team, but he refuses to elaborate on what they are up to, only that they are doing what he tells them to. Oliver tells the others that the vampires are running human farms around Smallville, wanting to act on it despite Diana not fully believing in it. Batgirl understands that Green Arrow wants to help people, but to save the most people they need to take out the vampire leadership. Oliver doesn't agree with that, wanting to help the people in Smallville, so Barb tells him to go and get himself killed then. Dr. Fate thinks their priority should be in clearing away the ash clouds from around the atmosphere, and their best tactical advantage is in Australia. He wants to know how they are sending people into space, but Kara knows that it's because of the sun. Kara knows that if she can get up into space, she can recharge and clear the smoke from the skies. Oliver is adamant about freeing the people of Smallville, causing him to argue with Fate and Black Manta, but Batgirl tells them to shut up since none of it matters as long as the king is running around, so she is going back to Gotham to kill Dick Grayson. Black Canary knows that she can't do that and she won't get within a mile of the city, let alone Dick, and no one has gotten in there in months. Constantine knows that's not true, as he thinks that Diana is stupid since they aren't letting anyone walk into the city just to get drunk dry by the vampires. But there is one person who got out of Gotham after the city fell, and she'll tell them how it's done. John knows that the only problem is that she is working with some rather nasty people on a project, as elsewhere Professor Pig, Thinker, Hugo Strange and Frankenstein continue their project, knowing they will need to take more spinal fluid samples from Harley Quinn, who they have strapped up to a machine. Harley reminds the men that when she gets out of these chains, she's going to personally beat the brains out of all of them with a really fucking big hammer.